Welcome to yet another episode of Thunder and Spark. This is 4 now, right? 5.
Number 5.
I don't know numbers or words or days. It is episode 5 of Thunder and Spark, and we are getting into festive territory. That's right. Red Buffalo check rocking here. Christmas shirt.
I didn't get the festive memo.
Happiest Christmas.
I think it's just naturally gravitating that direction now. Today is like kind of cold and rainy. It hasn't yet been official like winter weather here yet, but
Halloween was officially winter weather.
Seriously, Halloween was so cold, and then
it was ridiculous, and then it was like 80 again.
And we officially, as of yesterday, have our Christmas lights up. Woo! My body can barely move today.
Listen,
he's very proud of his Christmas lights.
And they do look very nice. I am very anti-Christmas before Thanksgiving, and it's been difficult. There's been a lot of discussions in the office this week because I'm anti-Christmas, and you've got your Christmas shirt on, and you guys got Christmas lights up, and it's
but I've been wearing my Thanksgiving.
Even had Thanksgiving yet, and I just think we're doing Thanksgiving a disservice.
Ted is the Grinch.
I think it's okay to combine the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. I think it's okay. Those are the ones that we celebrate, and there's obviously so many other holidays too that can be combined. Don't want to leave anyone out, but I think it's okay to combine them and enjoy everything as a festive holiday end of the year season.
You know what I think might be kind of the pivot point? I think kids might be the pivot point. I think you might start like incorporating Christmas stuff earlier whenever you have kids, because especially young kids, because Navy Thunder seeing Christmas lights and Christmas stuff go up, it's like super, super exciting for her. I don't pre-kids, I probably wouldn't have given any shits about putting stuff up sooner.
Not me. I love the glow of Christmas lights. Like that means something to me. I don't know why. It just feels magical. Not that I like believe in Santa or something, but it feels like the spirit of the season and the twinkling of Christmas lights.
What do you mean? Not that you believe in Santa.
We have something that we need to talk about. I'll tell you. I don't know.
Are you telling me he's not real?
He's in your heart.
And my chimney.
The only thing in our chimney is a wasp nest.
That's true.
Maybe a mouse.
Possibly.
Dear God. Well, you know what? But I think in adulthood, once I started being the guy who put up the Christmas lights, I started wanting to do it sooner, because as much effort as it is, and as much as my body hurts today, like I want them up long enough for me to be able to enjoy it enough to be worth the effort that I put forth.
Okay, but you can't. Okay, so here's the question though. You have them up. Are they going to start being turned on now, or are you going to wait?
Yeah, they're on now.
They're on.
Here's the difference, though. Our old ones are rare. They don't make them anymore. They work with an app. They do like light shows and stuff. But we decided we were going to box those up and sell them a string at a time as replacement strings on eBay. Because I've been in the position before where, because they don't make them anymore, as a string goes out, you're just screwed, and you got to hunt on eBay for them. So Govee now has these outdoor like soffit lights that are permanent year round, and it would be just warm white outdoor lights year round, but you can just go boop and all of a sudden it's Christmas. So that's what we did. So now they're permanent. I won't have to climb up and deal with our giant peak and feel like I'm gonna, Clark Griswold this thing every year. Not again. We still have some Christmas lights. They're gonna go up every year, but they aren't way, way, way up high. So we rented like a 36-foot extension ladder.
I've been pitched this idea 47 times.
And now that she's seen it in action,
he's explained this to me 47 times.
The number's growing.
That was the same number.
It was the same number.
I don't
47.
Know. But
we have a neutral party.
But it's worth it, right?
They're beautiful. They look gorgeous, and you did an excellent job.
We're going to show a clip in this because I've recorded clips because I'm too proud of it. But we're going to show a clip.
It's full on.
So you guys understand.
Yeah.
I'm just through phase one right now.
Did he bring the whole family out to the front yard to have a lighting ceremony?
And no.
When we pulled in the driveway, he was standing outside waiting for us to.
He probably did that to every car too that drove by. He's like, hey, Did you see those? Did you see those over there? I did that.
It's only phase 1 that's complete right now. Once phase 2 is completed, then I'll get some footage that we'll include in this.
Both sides of the family over.
It'll be like the tree. It'll be like the tree lighting in New York.
But it's the 2023 version of Clark Griswold, so it'll be me with the app hitting a button, and then nothing will work.
He's got a big switch.
Yeah, it's just me in the garage flipping a switch.
It is exciting, and of course, whenever you guys pulled up and I had them on, Navy Thunder, of course, was all about it. She wanted to walk out front and look at them and was super, super excited. Right. And that's what makes it worth it. I think it's, seeing the kids be like,
when we were at my parents' house the night before, or like last night before she wanted to leave so she could go home and see the Christmas lights that you had been working on all day. She said, "It's time to go, Mama. I got to see Christmas lights."
That's funny.
But she made chocolate chip cookies at my parents' house. So she had her container of chocolate chip cookies. And she's like, "We got to go. I got my cookies. I need to see Christmas lights."
What a magical world.
Right? I was like, man, you are.
That almost sounds as good as Tony's date night last night.
Oh.
Which is Tony had a date, everybody, last night.
It was a pretty nice date night. I sometimes when you just like get in the mood for something, like you just get in the mood. Not that mood. Just like I'm talking about, like when there's a meal that you want and you're just like, man, that sounds really good.
Yep.
I don't know why. I was like, chicken Alfredo sounds really, really good. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the store. So I go to the store. That's a whole other discussion because like I got some groceries to make dinner and like a couple other things, and I ring it all up, and I have like 4 bags of stuff, and it's $100.
And it's just your dinner stuff.
You had to ring it all up yourself too.
I did ring it all up myself. Yeah. I did, yeah. And it's also it had 3 different people come up to me like, "Hey, everything good? Are you doing okay?" I'm like,
right.
Okay. Listen, I did the self-checkout, so I don't have to interact with anybody. Yeah. Like, I already have to.
Are you accusing me of stealing or?
Yeah. And she made some punny joke about wine because I had a bottle of wine in the thing, and I was like, okay. Anyway, so I decided I'm going to make myself a nice little dinner. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make a nice chicken Alfredo. I was like, I even got like a little chopped Caesar salad, and I was like a bottle of wine, and I'm like, I'm just going to have a great night. And
with who?
With myself. It was my date night. It was just me. It was nice.
It's
and
glorious.
Also I had told Dustin that I randomly I didn't know what to watch yesterday morning when I woke up. So I just put on Game of Thrones randomly and started it from the beginning. And I'm like, that show is so
the first season.
So good.
It's so good.
It's so good. Mm-hmm. So I basically watched the whole season of Game of Thrones yesterday. But anyway, so I make me a nice chicken Alfredo, Caesar salad, cracked open a bottle of wine. I even got myself a piece of cheesecake for dessert. It was glorious.
Tony.
It was a glorious.
That sounds amazing.
Evening. And then I don't know if we want to cut this part out, but then I had a little gummy to go with it and had just a wonderful night.
It's all legal.
And I think I was in bed by like 10 something.
Damn.
Which for Ted is a very impressive feat on a Saturday.
You sleep like a baby too.
Oh, glorious.
Full belly.
Bro.
Man.
Oh, warm wine tingle.
Nice
like
with
the best
wine.
night ever.
And I'm telling you just take the wine and the gummy and they mix together just like perfectly. And you throw a big bowl of chicken Alfredo on top of that.
Chicken tortellini sounds good.
Bow tie pasta.
Bow tie pasta, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Tortellini sounds really good.
Yeah.
Do you know what we did last night?
What?
We were mentally abused by a toddler, by a 2-year-old.
Well,
so
happens.
we are.
So you're the ones you guys were really the ones who needed the bottle of wine.
We're envious of your wonderful evening. It sounds glorious.
It was great, and I just watched Game of Thrones, and then
we used to live like that.
It was great.
Yeah. We used to do things.
Tony's a great chef, great cook. He makes amazing meals.
Yeah.
Do you find that you put the same amount of effort forth when you're making food for just you versus like a group?
Oh, I'd say so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I went like above and beyond. It was pretty simple. I just had to cook some chicken and dumped it. I didn't make homemade sauce. I almost did. On the way to the grocery store, I looked up a recipe on how to make homemade Alfredo sauce just because I've never done it before. I'm sure it's super easy, but then I'm like, that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it's hit or miss on those recipes.
I was like, and then I don't want to go through the effort and then make it and then it not be good. And then I was also like, that's a lot. It's like I just opened the jar and put it in the thing. But it was really good. I actually mixed 2 different kinds of sauce.
Ooh. I have a comment request though. If you guys have an amazing Alfredo sauce recipe.
Yeah.
Send it to us because we've tried a couple and I don't think we've ever landed on one that's just like, this is what I'm going to keep making.
I got so I got a Bertolli's.
That's what we normally
4 cheese Alfredo sauce, but then I also got a I don't know how to say the first word, so I'm not going to say it because it's dumb, but it's like de peppa or whatever. So it's like peppery, like a little bit. It's Alfredo sauce, but it's got some more pepper in it. So I got those and mixed those two together.
You had an Alfredo sauce with Peppa the Pig in it.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's really good.
The look on his face.
It was, and the thing is like it's pasta. So like I made this big batch of it, and I had like a one because I was like full because I'm like
it's pasta. Yeah,
it's pasta, and you just fill up. And
Why for did you not bring this today?
I know.
This sounds really good.
I'm sorry. I do have some left over. No, there's no wine left over though. But there is Alfredo left over because that is just like
he went Tyrion Lannister,
right?
Well, even that, and you just have a little, little wine and cheesecake and Game of Thrones. It was great. Yeah. I had a great evening.
Did you find yourself like taking a sip of wine every time they took a sip of wine in Game of Thrones? Because it is the most wine drinking show.
Right. It is, and it's so
wine, and
it's early too. Like it's that first. I'm on that first season, second season, so he's always drinking wine.
Yeah.
Right.
He's always drinking wine and stuff. But I started watching that show and I'm like, this show was so good. And apologies if you haven't seen Game of Thrones, there's a spoiler alert coming in a second. So sorry.
There's your tone.
Here's your spoiler alert for Game of Thrones. It's so upsetting how they ruined that show.
Yeah,
oh my God, they really did.
You invest so much and are so into it. And it was so
years.
That show was so well made. Everything was so good, and they just absolutely in the end.
Right. I wish the actors had read that and been like, "We're not doing this. This is not the way this ends."
But okay, it was so good. It was such a good show.
But
here's a question for you then: when it comes to fiction dramas like that, who gets to make the ultimate decision? To me, it feels like the author should be the one who drives that boat.
But it wasn't the author.
I understand.
It was the writers.
I understand.
The producers of the show.
But I feel like they had to get his approval on everything though, right? Or do they just pay him a shit ton of money and say we're going to do what we do? So as the author in that,
with him.
As the author in that capacity, I would be like, no. But the integrity of the story lies with him.
That's
Yeah, but you never know how all that works too with HBO and them being like at a certain point like, listen, we're going to do this. So this is how we're going to do it.
But we did notice because we rewatched it a second time and we did notice like in the earlier seasons, you can pick up on Danny.
Foreshadow, yeah.
Becoming like more volatile and
I think
like more unhinged.
I don't think all of the last season was bad, but I think it was like they could have ended it with like, was it like episode, I think it's like, 8 episodes? Maybe up to episode like 5 or 6. They had the big battle and they had all of that.
It was great.
Like it could have ended there.
Yeah.
Like because of how they kept going and ended it. And when they made that guy, oh my gosh, I was screaming at the TV when Bram.
The whole
he's
world.
Like, Bram the Broken. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like before all that was getting ready to happen, I was like, oh my, it's going to be Bram. They're going to make Bram the kid. This is ridiculous. Oh, I was so mad. Screaming at the TV.
I always thought it was going to be Tyrion. Yeah. But he was the hand of the king. So.
Right. And that's where he serves best, I think, in that capacity. All right. We've got a couple questions from VIP group that we want to address before we start diving into a couple of stories for you today. And one of the questions that we have was worst hobby you've ever tried and why? Candy Thunder, you want to lead us off?
Like, I don't know what hobbies that have been terrible. I honestly don't know. I'm like, parenting?
It's not so much a hobby as
it is a hobby.
It's not so much a hobby as it is a life sentence.
I'm kidding, by the way. I'm totally kidding. I don't know. I honestly don't know. You and I really don't have time for hobbies right now.
No, I try.
One of the hobbies that I've it's not recent, I guess it's been a while, but was like lettering, handwriting.
And you're really talented at it too.
Well, and I had really bad handwriting. And Ava has like my original handwriting. So when I was in high school, and that's kind of where like my note taking came from, was like I made myself practice writing different variations of letters and like trying to make my handwriting a lot nicer. And then 8 years ago, I picked up like hand lettering, which I do in meetings because it keeps me focused. But it wasn't a bad hobby, and I still do it and I enjoy it. I just don't have time for it.
I hear you.
But I don't know if I have a worst hobby that I've ever done. I'll have to think about it.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
You haven't had a crash and burn kind of experience.
Or maybe I just don't try enough.
Tony Spark, what about you?
I don't think I have any hobbies. I mean,
You like to cook?
well, yeah.
It's not a hobby.
I don't think it's
That's
really a
self-preservation.
You like to go to concerts.
Okay, but I guess what's the definition of a hobby?
Boating, that's a hobby.
Like, what would you consider the definition of a hobby, though?
An extracurricular activity.
Oh, well, yeah.
Something that you enjoy doing or that you've tried to learn.
I don't. Man, this is a tough question. I should have come up with an answer before this. Because
Tony does have a new hobby.
What?
Buying shoes.
Okay. Yeah, that's a terrible hobby. I quit that hobby. I quit. I had one experience, and it's.
You don't quit. You're already looking at your next adventure with it.
I know.
You keep talking about he thinks he's going to go back.
I know, but I keep saying that, and they're probably gone by now, so I can't even go back.
You're going to start getting ads for shoes.
I do get
and
ads.
And it spirals out of control from there.
I do get ads for shoes, and then I'm like, I don't really need them.
Facebook and Instagram ads have they've got me on lockdown because like show it to me 20 times, and I'm like,
that's the same thing for me. My Facebook ads are always just like
right on point.
It's like Facebook ads are like, you know how you have the angel and the devil on the shoulder? Yeah. The Facebook ads are always like the little devil, and he's like, come on, hey, listen, I know you were looking at that Chiefs hoodie over there. Let me tell you, you don't even have to go back to that website because I've got it right here. You just click right here and I'll take you right.
Spend money you don't have.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you looked at that. Hey, guess what? Here it is again. And it just keeps showing it to you over and over and over.
And as a marketing agency who runs remarketing ads,
yeah,
we're happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I think I have kind of an OCD experience with hobbies where I will obsessively dive in 110% on a hobby until I either crash and burn with it or get bored with it or just get enticed by something else. But golf was one for a while. Mm-hmm. I ran hard at golfing and I still enjoy it. It is just so time consuming and so expensive. And I got to a point where my back has just deteriorated over the years from filming or whatever, but it just wouldn't allow me to do it anymore. And then most recently, like I'm still actively trying to learn to play piano. That is a hobby, just trying to learn different instruments. I started actually working on trying to learn music production as a hobby. You know, getting into like electronic music production. And I'd say that's probably my biggest crash and burn because I very quickly got overwhelmed and felt like I was just nowhere near qualified to dive into it, which is actually what led to the piano because I have that MIDI piano. And I thought, okay, time out on music production. I feel like I need to stop and learn the piano first and then eventually work my way into music production. So I've like put that on the shelf, and that's probably my worst one so far because I was just completely unprepared for it. Golf is really fun. I just don't.
I like golf. I'm just not good at it.
It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
I was on the golf team in high school, and then that was probably about the best I ever was at golf. Now, by no means was I a good golfer. It was my parents being like, you're going to do something your senior year. So I was like, I'll go play golf.
There you go.
And mainly because
that's a game that you drink while you play when you grow up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's now when I play a few times a year in tournaments, and they're basically, we call them drinking tournaments where we just play a little bit of golf. So it's, yeah.
That's an
enjoyable
excuse
to drink
way to play.
beer with your buddies.
Yeah. That's an enjoyable way to play.
Yeah.
We have another question here that is navigating friendships as someone with kids and without kids, do's and don'ts of those friendships. So are we talking about blending? Like if you're someone with kids, navigating friendships with people who don't have kids and then vice versa? Or is it just generally navigating friendships if you have kids and if you don't have kids?
Yeah.
I think all of the above.
Okay.
Yeah. You're like, that was an either or. And I was like, yeah.
Yes.
Sure. Tony, you want to
So Tony,
this?
Okay, we have to clarify. For those of you who don't know, Candy Thunder and I have 5 kids. Tony doesn't have kids, but has friends with kids. So you got some experience for what you've navigated thus far, and your friends have young kids, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of weird. I have a very interesting friend group, and like my friend group ranges in age from like my age and like a few years younger than me to like one of my best friends is like 52 years old, 51, 52. So it's really interesting. But like a lot of my friends now in my close, like my best friends in my very close circle, like all are having kids now. And so they both have like one of them have, he turns 1 next month and the other one's got a 2.5-year-old. And so it's like, and we joke all the time about like, because they're some of my best friends and we spend a lot of time together and like all the summers at the lake and like going out to the bars and doing all that stuff. And now how it's all just like drastically changed. And I feel like my first friends that had a kid and they had it was like during the height of COVID, right? So like things were a little bit different. But now like we make the joke like at the lake of like how things have changed so much now, where it's like, okay, the baby's taking a nap, or okay, we can go down to the dock after the like, oh, wakes up from his nap, and oh, do you got the baby monitor? Do you have like a golf cart full of? I also have learned that babies have so much shit.
So much shit.
They have so much shit. I don't understand it. I don't understand why. Like, I think you never have as many possessions in your life as you do when you're a baby, because this kid has more stuff than I've ever seen. And so like, as part of that, like in order to take the kid down with us to the lake and all that, like there's a lot that goes into that. Like we've got and it's funny because Nick has got the little wagon, like he's got like a little wagon to wheel all the stuff down. And, you know, you've got the wagon and you've got, you know, his toys and his floaty and his life jacket and all this stuff. And then all of the other stuff you need, like diapers and all of that stuff. So it's funny how we look like, we've kind of looked at it and everything. It's like, wow, this is life now. And so it's, I like to think I've done a pretty good job adjusting to it. I think there's times where I'm still like get frustrated, but
where before it was like just a cooler and now it's like a whole wagon.
Or it's like, hey, I can call him up and be like, hey, let's go out tonight. Let's go out to the bar. Let's go do that. Well, you know, things take a lot more planning now. Like there's not as much of the spur of the moment type stuff, but
right.
Do you find that you've grown more into like a helpful role? I guess my question is, do you find that if you engage more in like helping them do things that facilitate making it easier for them to do things with you, that they're more likely to?
Like what do you like help them with the kid, or just like
or just like, you know, helping haul baby stuff to the location.
And I think that I've also learned like it's much more like I'm much more flexible probably now than I used to be, and more of like, hey, what works for you guys? Like you tell me, like,
right.
Cause I just have to worry about myself. And so I can just go with the flow. I was like, you just tell me, you know, hey, if we're supposed to meet to go do something at this time, well, and then I can get a text and like, hey, you know, they didn't go down for a nap in time. It's going to be later than this, or we're going to go. I'm like, whatever, like it's fine. Whatever works for you. It did take me a long time to hold them children. I don't hold babies. Like they just freak me out. And so it was a while before I held Banks, and I held Stella for the first time though, when she was like 2 weeks old, and it was the smallest human I've ever, like it was like
they're so
little bit. I'm like
little peanut,
literally like put her in my arms in like 10 seconds. She started crying. I'm like, take her. And so with Banks, like I didn't hold him like at all, like and everybody hold him, like just hold him. And then it became a thing that I wasn't holding him. And then it was the pressure of it too, as everybody was like, just hold him. I'm like, no, I'm not going to hold him. I don't hold babies. And then it was like, then one day, literally, it's just like randomly in the kitchen where I'm just like, I was like, here, give him to me. And she's like, what? I'm like, just give him to me. I was like, oh, and then it was
I'm
fine.
ready. It's the moment.
Then it was good. And then now it's just like love to pick him up and play with them and do all that stuff.
Right.
But, so I think, I mean, it's more of like, hey, I'll carry this or do that. Or, but I think a lot of it is just me being more flexible, like just whatever. Like, if it works, it works. And I think if you ask any of my friends, I'm really good at, I don't know if it's really good is the term, but at peer pressure, and very good at like, just come on, just do it, whatever. Like just do it. And making people feel bad if they didn't want to go do stuff with me. So I've learned, I have grown, and I don't really do that anymore. Because like it would be the point of like they wouldn't want to tell me no, or they wouldn't want, because then I would just be like, what? Just why? Just like do it. Like come on, like just go out for a few hours.
So they just ignore you now?
No, they did. They did, and we don't do that as much anymore now because I've grown, and I've been like, listen, I would rather you just tell me no than like ignore me. And because now I don't do that. Like if they tell me no, can't do something, like okay, no problem, like whatever. Yeah. So now it's just it's we work around nap schedules and babysitters and stuff like that. I've also realized to enjoy the moments that like we do get to go do stuff, because it doesn't happen very often now. Right. And so there's more nights of like having a dinner and date night with myself is more like
you enjoy
more
the time
common now.
Yeah.
And it's more of like if I go out, I'll either go out by myself or like do whatever. But I don't know. I also like being the uncle though. Like it's fun to be the uncle. Yeah. And I'm really good friends with, very close with my cousins, and they have a couple of daughters, and so I'm Uncle Tony to a whole bunch of kids, and I'm fine with that. Like that'd
be such a fun role to be able to like spoil the kids and have fun with them, but not have to put up with the bullshit.
100%.
So 100%. What do you think, Candy Thunder, about navigating friendships with people, your friends who do and do not have kids?
I mean, my friends that have kids get it with, like if we'll just use Navy since she's the youngest, like if she's having a meltdown, they understand the meltdown, and they don't.
You mean if she's having a meltdown in front of them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously. But if she's, I do feel like whenever I'm with people that don't have kids, and this goes for like family and everything, but I get like, I don't want to make people uncomfortable if she's having a meltdown, or like, I don't want to inconvenience people, because I have to do so much extra stuff with Navy. Mm-hmm. So like when we went to Silver Dollar City, like, my mom is grandma and my sister is the aunt, but they don't have little kids. And so Navy requires a lot more effort and work at Silver Dollar City than my teenagers, or so I thought, until I took them there. And then they followed me around like white on rice, in my bubble. All the teenagers. Like, oh my God, and Navy's like, I want to play. I want to run away. And my teenagers are like, we don't want to leave your side. And I'm like, go do stuff.
Go live, be free.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't understand. I couldn't wait to get away from my parents. But I do worry about inconveniencing people that don't have kids when I have really just a smaller kid. I feel like the teenagers are, if I do want them to go do something, I'll tell them to go do something. But you know what I mean? Like that, I do. That part worries me, like for other people to have to handle my stuff.
I also feel like you and I are in similar spots where, because our lives are so busy, and it's kids, it's our day jobs, it's the Dusty Thunder adventures, and then home life is there's no time to schedule time to do things with friends. And I think it's probably been, I can't remember the last time I did something just hanging out with a friend. And that's sad, but at the same time, that's also life. Whenever you get to a certain point and life just gets absolutely crazy, we're also really not smart, because we chose to endure the toddler phase and the super busy, extracurricular activity driven teenage phase of life at the same time.
Yeah.
Plus run an agency, plus do this social media experiment. Like, we've just stacked ourselves up. And I understand that's not typical for most people, but we're just so busy.
I walk around in a circle because there's like so much stuff to do. And I'm like, and I do have attention like issues. So I'm like, this, that, what, I don't know what fire to put out. There's like, I know there's an episode of Friends where Phoebe's like, I don't know what to do first. And I'm like, that's how I felt on Friday. Cause I was like, there was just so much stuff to do and like and we were supposed to do this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it just like, I don't know where to look first. And that's the part that I feel like with kids, I feel like can inconvenience other people that don't have kids. So.
Well, you pee on the fire that's licking your toes. And go outward from there.
There's 7 fires, like all in a circle.
You just pee on the closest one.
Yeah. And I mean, I would be lying if I said I still don't have like those times where I still get frustrated, or I'm just
sure. I mean,
I'm just, because it's a big adjustment
really
because I have a really tight, like my very close friend group, and then they all are like having kids at the same time. So it's all like, so it went from being able to go out and do all that to all of a sudden nothing. Like you just, not nothing, but like, that just kind of goes away, and then you're like,
Do you feel like they've
shit.
abandoned you largely?
No, I don't think they've abandoned me. I don't want to be that dramatic. Now, some drunken text that I might send them might say otherwise sometimes, where I am abandoned and
I'm not saying that
all alone with my bottle of wine and Alfredo.
I'm not saying that you would accuse them of that, but you also can't help the way that you feel.
I think,
and I imagine being the last
maybe
man standing
initially
in that
it
group.
feels a little bit like that, but I feel like I've kind of gotten like I know what to expect now, and I think that kind of like you know what I just had run through my head while I'm saying that is Mike quick because I've said like too many times. But
I say it all the time too. You're good.
But I don't know about feeling abandoned, but definitely that feeling. You just feel kind of lonely, like because your friends are all in these different phases of life, and
instead of like, you should just start saying similarly and see how that changes things.
Similarly,
That's such a hard word.
But similarly,
simile.
No, I get it. It's an adjustment for everybody.
Yeah.
You should just start acting as if you're one of their children.
Yeah,
and see how that works.
I feel like sometimes they probably think I am one of their children.
Like, what did you bring me to eat?
Yeah.
One of my
What
friends,
snacks did you bring?
she did call me 2-year-old Tony.
Just start calling him mom and dad.
I would throw fits sometimes, but
Hey,
but I
you
think
know what?
I think part of it's also just getting older, which I refuse to admit. And the excuse is like, oh, we're getting older. I'm like, listen, that's just a state of mind. Like you don't think about it. Because but it is funny. Like our whole routine has changed of what we do. Like when we're at the lake or we're going out.
Yeah, has
like
to.
you gotta see you can watch the kid, and then if there's not somebody to watch the kid, well, we can't do this or we can't do it at this time. And
luckily, the journey, like this is the hard part, but those kids get to a point where they become like more independent and more interactively fun. And by the time they're 10, like you guys are going to be having a freaking blast together.
Right.
And they're both really fun right now. Like Stella's fun to be around.
It'll be a different
Banks
kind of fun,
is like,
though.
he's just about ready to start walking and like,
nice.
He's so happy all the time and he's like fun to play with, but
well, they're going to be like tubing and stuff,
yeah.
soon. And that's going to be so fun for Uncle Tony.
And it's like with my cousins' kids, they're a little bit older. They're I'm going to mess this up. 12 and 10, 13 and 11.
Close enough.
What's sixth grade?
Preteens.
12.
Sixth grade is 12.
12.
Yeah.
I think she might
It's 12.
I think it's
so like 12 and 10. That range. And so like they've been around for that many years, obviously.
Yeah.
And so you get a little bit used to that, but now they're at the age where they can like take care of themselves too.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
If they can drive the golf carts and do all that, and it kind of frees it up
And
a
a
little bit.
certain
And
point.
so it's funny because we got them to that point, and then all these other people started having kids, and so now we're starting all over again.
Yeah, but
it's fun.
But those kids here soon will be able to
watch
help
the little
take care
kids.
of those.
Exactly.
Yes, there's an ecosystem.
Exactly. And so that's the goal with that. But
Real quick before we start diving into stories, I know this is a long intro, apologies, but one of the things that we wanted to talk to you about is Mission Protect the Cake. That is a special thing that we've taken on of our own accord here. You know how cake is so important to us, and we've read multiple stories where kids namely, end up not having a birthday cake, and it's one of the great injustices of this world. And obviously there's a lot going on in the world. There's all kinds of things that need to be fixed. This is one of those things where we don't feel like anybody's really focused on the symbolic meaningfulness of a birthday cake and how much that means to a kid particularly, but everybody. So we decided we were going to start this mission to protect the cake and to actually build and donate cake kits to local organizations here in the Joplin, Missouri area so that we can try to at least prevent or solve that problem for a couple of kids. And if we can help one person, I feel like we're going to have done an awesome job.
Right.
We're going to have the opportunity to help a lot more than that. And eventually want to see this thing scale out. Yes, I just spit everywhere. We saw it. Okay,
I wasn't sure where something failed from.
It's spittle.
Fail.
It's spittle.
it's like there's a leak up there.
No, it's spittle. So we've built these cake kits, and Candy Thunder can talk a little bit more about what's involved in those cake kits and how much each one of them cost and what we're doing with it.
Right. So we created cake kits, and our goal was to have every ingredient, including the pan, in this kit so that nobody would have to buy anything. It includes birthday candles, cake mix, icing, a disposable pan, and then it also has applesauce and carbonated water to replace the eggs and oil. And those are, I think, $8 a kit, but we wanted to donate them to local places that help children. So we had looked at the Children's Haven, which is something where like kids can go and stay when parents can't handle it, or just
when kids are in tough spots or parents in tough spots. This is a refuge for children specifically.
And then there's Head Start, who they work directly with families, and so they're going to know who needs that the most or where those could be the most helpful. And then we have a couple of places that are actually clients that we have partnered with, which is CASA. I'm trying to think of the last one that's on the list.
CASA works with kids who are in the system.
Correct.
And partners them with, or assigns them with, an advocate who ends up being their person. No matter which homes they're shuffled to, no matter where they go, they have that one constant person the whole time that they're in the system, which is a huge, huge deal. And the local one that we have has made huge strides. So they just built a new facility where they have a full kitchen and everything. So stocking that kitchen with some cakes for those kids, I feel like would be huge.
Well, and I feel like these kits are actually like, depending on the age of the child, they can help make this. Like it's a simple kit. And it's something that they can be a part of. And I know that every kit that we put out there isn't going to be used for what we intend it to be used for. But if they're able to make a cake, whether it's for their birthday or just something that they get to make and enjoy, I feel like that giving that to a child is something that means something to us.
Yeah.
The last one was the Lafayette House, which is where women and children can go, and like you said,
shelter.
Yeah, it's a women's shelter. So.
And the cost for all the ingredients that we ended up getting together was around $8.
Yep.
Okay. And what day are we actually doing the Mission Protect the Cake-a-thon?
So it'll be it's in 2 days. So it'll happen before this goes out. But we'll have links if you do want to donate, where you could go to a webpage and donate $8 for one kid or whatever you want to donate in order to help that. Everything that we make on that live is going to go towards this mission, and everything that we bring in through that webpage is going to go towards this mission. And then, of course, we're going to match and put in our own money to help with that. So.
It's not a one-time thing. This is going to be an ongoing mission, so that we have a webpage dedicated to it on the Dusty Thunder site, and we'll include a link to that in this description.
Insert
so you can go check
link
it out.
on screen here.
There you go. Insert link.
It's going to be like a PBS telethon.
The more you know.
Shooting star.
I do. And I'm speaking about like monetization. Like we have to monetize on the content that we put out there. And we have been able to create, 2 jobs for Miles and Caden. Part of Tony's job is now Dusty Thunder. A lot of what I do is strictly just Dusty Thunder content.
I'm glad you added content on there.
So I want to be transparent about that. Like we have to. Oh, I was like, what are you doing?
Just giving a devious look into the camera. Tooting?
You were like
leaning over to toot with my face.
I know I didn't know what you were doing. So I've lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
I was trying to be transparent about
we've created jobs,
yeah.
And we monetize to support those jobs. And also,
we put in a lot of hours for this content.
We treat it like a business, and we've grown it into, one of the main clients here at Stormcloud Marketing. But it's an internal thing. It's not the typical marketing services. We're doing some atypical stuff with it, but everything that we do, we learn and can apply those learnings, to some of the client stuff that we do as well. But it's not something that we're getting rich and driving Ferraris and flying airplanes for doing yet.
One of these days.
Not yet. I did see that sweet Stingray Corvette in the showroom while I had the Tahoe getting serviced, and took some pictures. I was like, yeah, truck 2.0 maybe. Show up with that at home. See what Candy Thunder
We've
thinks.
got 2 girls that are about to turn 15.
Yeah, it'd be a
Get in
terrible
line,
idea.
buddy. Get in line.
Terrible idea.
Like you're very far down the line
Yeah.
when it comes to cars.
I'm like, I'm gonna have to sell my car. And see, like, I'm gonna have to Uber places with Navy. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna strap them.
so I can get the car.
I'm gonna strap a car seat to a moped and see what happens. Anyway, Mission Protect the Cake. We hope it's something that you'll at least consider learning more about on that webpage, and we have that live coming up. We'll probably make it a part of more lives coming up in the future as well. But it is something really cool. We're gonna take a short break, and then we're gonna dive into some stories for you. BRB.
Yeah.
So we're coming back from a break and getting ready to dive into stories, and of course the conversation has drifted into Game of Thrones. But we have a story to read for you.
Ooh.
This one is titled.
Wait, I just realized something. Joffrey is the definition of Ascon 1.
Basically.
Well, yeah,
Like he is. That's
Like,
that's what the scale
the
is.
original
It's
Ascon
Joffrey.
one.
just maliciously evil.
Yeah.
He definitely is that. Also, he's the product of incest, so he's got some issues. You know that for sure. Okay, the title of this story is, Am I the Astronaut for Still Ordering Meat in Front of My Vegan Friend? A few days ago, I spent an evening with some friends, watching movies, playing video games together, just chilling in general. At around 8 p.m., we started discussing ordering some food and settled on a burger place we all liked. One of my friends, let's call her Alicia, is vegan, and another, Josh, is vegetarian, so they both ordered the vegan option. My third friend, Chris, eats meat occasionally, but he went with the vegan burger too. Out of the 4 of us, I'm the only one who went for the non-vegan burger. I'm not really a big meat eater. I barely ever buy meat, mostly because it's expensive, but also because it's a hassle to cook in my small kitchen, so I mostly stick to the very basic stuff. The only times I ever eat some is when I order at restaurants, so like once every 2 months, because it's one of the few times I can eat nice meat, and because I'm rarely a fan of the vegetarian/vegan options offered. When I ordered my burger, my friend Alicia asked me to go for the vegan one instead. I refused. We had a small argument about it, and I really want to stress that we were both very civil. There was no shouting, no name calling, not even snide remarks, but we both grew frustrated about each other. Her argument is basically that watching other people eat meat or smelling meat makes her feel sick and want to cry. And it's disrespectful of me to want to eat meat in front of her. My argument is that I don't have to adapt my food choices to her wants and preferences, and that I'm not really a fan of this place's vegan burgers in particular. I find the patty dry and tasteless. She said that refusing to compromise about something which clearly upsets her is asshole-ish of me. I said that deciding what I am allowed to eat or not when we hang out together is asshole-ish of her. I stuck to my guns and ordered my burger, and when it arrived, I went to eat it in the other room so as to not upset Alicia with the smell/sight. I'm not saying it bitterly or anything. It did not bother me that much, and me and my other 2 friends had fun yelling stuff at each other from our respective side of the wall while we ate. It's not something I want to do every single time we have dinner together, though. When I came back, Alicia was in a relatively better mood, but she was still sulking a bit, and she told me she was still upset that I ate meat even if she did not see me eat it. I did not really answer beyond a vague sorry, and we went back to playing Mario Kart. Yesterday, I was talking to Chris via Discord, and we talked about the incident. He told me that it had been wrong of me to still order meat when I knew it bothered Alicia so much, that the incident really made her feel sick, and that she had wanted to throw up and run away crying because of the meat. That I was technically right about the fact that no one should dictate how I eat or what I order for myself, but as a friend, I should have been accommodating to her, and I disrespected her. I'm torn between agreeing that as a friend, I should have just caved instead of dying on this hill and hurting Alicia, and insisting that friends don't decide what the other can eat or do with themselves in general. So, am I the astronaut?
So OP is supposed to make the compromise and not eat meat, but yet the vegan can't compromise. Is that what I'm getting out of this?
That's what I got.
It's like, you're not even wanting to compromise and not eat the meat. And it's like, well, you aren't either because you're freaking out about me eating the meat.
But he did compromise because he went into the other room instead of eating it
That's
in
true.
front of her.
He did. Yep.
So he actually took efforts to compromise. She just wanted to control what he put in his body, which I think is 100% wrong.
I feel like I could get canceled on this topic.
I feel that she's the one that set the boundary. So she set that boundary for herself, and it's her job to walk away. It's not his job to accommodate that boundary. That's a boundary she set for herself. If seeing meat makes her want to cry, then don't put yourself in situations where you're going to see meat, but you cannot control what other people eat.
So I think that I agree with you both. I don't think this is a cancelable topic because it's not about being a vegan or a vegetarian. This is about having your personal beliefs, but forcing them onto other people. And anybody who forces their beliefs onto other people is an asshole. And that's the end of the story.
Well, I don't understand. And I think this is we'll definitely have to watch this over and see what to cut out. But it's I think it's the people who have the unrealistic expectations that you want, like, oh, they need to compromise for me.
Right.
But yet I'm not going to compromise. Well, I'm vegan. Well, congratulations. Be vegan. I'm not vegan.
Right.
So like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, oh my God, please don't eat that plant-based burger in front of me. It's just going to make me sick. You'd be like, why? I can eat this. Like, you can't tell me what to do, blah, blah, blah. But yet you're like, oh my God, you're eating meat. Please don't do that. It's
if the tables were turned.
Oh my God, you're such a piece of shit for doing that. Like, why are you doing that? Why don't you respect me and my opinion? Like, okay, well, you don't respect that person either. So like, it's like when people preach about, no, I can't go down that road either. This is a tough topic.
It doesn't matter what.
This is a tough topic because it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous because it comes down to one side. It's always one side of like, you need to be accommodating and accepting and blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, so do you.
It's a one-way street.
Right.
And that's when people become
compromise
an asshole.
and do it. It's like,
yeah.
The friend that said that he was disrespectful, the friend sounds to me like he didn't want to have an issue in the friend group. And this created an issue, so he doesn't do well with conflict. But he is trying to avoid it. I feel
also, like, I mean, OP went to the other room and ate it, and that is a bigger. And then the one friend who's the one upset about it is still mad and giving them shit days later because, like, even though you went to the other room, I know you ordered it, and just knowing that you ordered it upsets me.
Like, he eats meat. I guess he doesn't eat meat all the time, but people eat meat all the time. So is she just constantly upset over the fact?
Just the thought of it. She's sitting on her bed.
Crying.
If you are a person in this situation, you spend your life being offended by what other people are doing. I
don't have time to be offended by what other people are doing. Like, this person
I guarantee you, this person is offended by everything.
Sure. Well, and I know we have plenty of vegetarians and vegans watching right now.
And that's fine.
That's totally fine.
That don't act like this.
Right.
That don't act like this at all. It's not about being a vegan or a vegetarian. This is about forcing your beliefs onto other people.
But if you are expecting somebody to respect you and your choices, then you also need to respect other people. The opposite, like, it's
mutual. Respect is mutual.
You need to respect and be like, okay, that is their life and their choice. They're not telling me you have to eat a burger because I'm eating a burger. Like, he's ordering a burger because he wants a burger, and he probably, I think he even said in there, like, he just didn't like that vegan place's burgers. Yeah. If there's somewhere else, like, more often than not, it sounds like he's going to order a vegan option. Right. But he just didn't like that one, so he ordered a burger. Like, that's okay. Be like, hey, no problem. Like, it's fine.
When I worked at Outback, I had someone tell me that we discriminated against smokers. And I'm like, you can't discriminate against a lifestyle choice, and being vegan is a lifestyle choice. And so I feel like that this guy wasn't doing anything wrong. That's just my 2 cents.
I think it comes down to, in the general vibe of what we're saying is about forcing beliefs onto other people. But I think when it comes to respect, it is when respect is expected, but it's only a one-way street without offering it in return, that just makes you entitled. Well, you feel like you're entitled to someone's respect without having to give it, and that's always going to put you in an ask on scale category. Where would you put the friend who got upset here?
Alicia.
Probably 2, 3.
That's what
I would say 2.
2.
She definitely should.
She's not a 1. I mean,
it's not evil.
The 2 people that you never have to ask. You never have to ask a vegan or a person who does CrossFit if they do it, because they'll be sure to tell you. But, like, That was supposed to be a joke.
I'm sure they're not all like that, but I get it.
That's like the joke of like you always know who's a vegan and who does CrossFit without even asking because they will tell you. Yeah. Like, I do CrossFit, bro. I'm a vegan.
Except for Jessie.
Yeah, she's like the exception to the rule.
She's
wear
the
the
exception
t-shirt.
to every rule, but she
Because
also
most
has,
people would be like, oh,
she's got the guns to prove it.
Today, you know, it's a big CrossFit workout today. You do CrossFit? You don't do CrossFit? Oh, well, I probably couldn't handle it anyway.
Let's go back to the hobby conversation.
That's hilarious. Okay, so I think we're all in agreement here. OP NTA.
Yeah, you can't ask for somebody to respect your choices and your decisions and then not reciprocate that back to them.
Yep.
Like you can't. It's one way or the other. Like either you can't say I'm offended by that and you didn't respect me for this, and then not have that same respect for their feelings in the way that if he wants to eat a burger, eat a burger. He's not asking you to eat the burger.
Right.
Like he's not taking you to a burger joint and being like, oh, I'm going to eat a burger. This is all you have. Like, no.
There's no balance to that equation at all.
Yeah.
It's lopsided.
And again, like I said, that person's probably always in a constant state of being offended.
Yep.
Yeah, I think some people just look for things
They
to
like
be
the
offended by.
confrontation. They like
Thrive on it.
I can't. I don't know. That would be a shitty way to live.
Exactly.
To look for reasons to be upset.
Let's dive to our next story here. This one,
Petty revenge.
yeah, this one I actually found. Found the last one too.
Yeah, he found both.
Wow.
But this one
Candy
is
Thunder's having a weekend.
so applicable for us. This one is perfect for us. Okay, this one is from Petty Revenge and is titled "To the Lady." Petty Revenge story. Edit. I do not know where this lady lives, somewhere in the trailer park. I don't own, nor do I care to get a camera. I posted this for reader entertainment of the little thing I did, not to get a bunch of suggestions. I don't need any. Thank you. Nothing major, but I live in a trailer park where there are clear postings everywhere. Clean up after your dogs. Simple enough, right? I mean, we clean up after our dog, but apparently some are too good for this rule. I came home to pick something up real quick, and as I pulled up, there was this lady standing in my driveway on her phone while her dogs, they were leashed but still, crapped on my lawn. All she had with her was her phone, wallet, keys, and she was wearing yoga pants that were almost see-through, a jacket with a fuzzy hood and no pockets, and a bandana in her hair. You know, bougie trailer trash. And obviously no poop bags on her. As I pulled up, she yanked her dogs mid-crap and scurried away. Mind you.
Yeah, I know. Poor pup.
The dog's like, oh, I gotta pinch it off. Mind you, it's a Saturday, so the office is closed, but I will be reporting her on Monday. In the meantime, however, I went out and bought 3 posters and some cheap markers. I wrote in big letters, "To the lady I caught in my driveway with the chocolate and black labs, you left your dog crap in our yard." And I leaned them against the front of our trailer for all to see. Well, it's so applicable for us because we have Schitt's Creek out in front of our office that some mystery poopers let their dog shit in, even though we put a sign up.
And I do have to say, the other day, we had a member of the DFHB club out there because it was early in the morning, sitting there watching somebody walk their dog right into that patch of grass. Dog stops to do its business, and Jesse and I are like staring out the window, like,
Are they?
What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Are they going to pick it up? Or are they going to leave it? And I was like, they better pick it up. And she pulled out the little doggy bag, picked up the poop, and took
Nice
it.
work.
And that is a DFHB approved
Nice
person.
work.
Yes.
But we do have a serial pooper or serial poopers in front of our office to the point where we didn't do the poster board with markers. We got a legit sign,
A metal sign.
a metal legit sign made and put it up and said, please pick up your poop. Because at one point there was so much poop. You
couldn't even,
covered.
you had to
You
jump across.
You basically had to walk around the grass because you couldn't walk through it anymore.
That's when it got the
There
name
was so
Schitt's
much
Creek.
But we did provide the little poo bags too.
Yeah.
There's like a little thing out
I'm
there.
pretty sure Ann
Thanks
sent
to
that.
Ann.
Right? Yeah,
Ann sent a little.
And Imbracker.
Yeah, she sent a little deal with dog. I don't know if anybody uses them or not.
I think they do. Yeah, they've got.
Knowing this neighborhood, who knows what they're being used for?
That's true. However, yeah, that Ann sent a doggy
just
poo bag
for
dispenser to us.
storage.
And we put it on the sign out there that says, "Please pick up your poop." So
And
that was
With an
awesome.
arrow that's like in this area.
like the whole thing. And then, we had what I would consider a rather aggressive act of war because we put the sign up and then later that week or the next week, there was a fresh big old pile of dookie right at the base of the sign, and that feels like an act of aggression.
If it,
Like that's like, there's no way that you, like, I want to know how you can be letting your dog's taking a shit at the base of a sign that says pick up your shit and just walk away and leave the shit.
You're just not a
That
DHB.
our next step
a
is to
shitty human.
put a camera up,
Yeah.
and to catch this person in the act, and then to actually use it in content. That'll probably be a DFHB TikTok video, so we'll put it out there for
It has
for
gotten
all
better
to
though.
see.
It's more rare now.
We'll blur their face.
Every now and then you'll
Sometimes.
see it. You'll see
Sometimes.
some out there that has not been picked up, but it's pretty much stopped.
I think it's important to just be neighborly to the people that are. Do you see that? Did you see how
Yeah, I
did
did.
that?
I saw that segue.
But I think it's like she obviously leashed her dogs, took them out, went into somebody else's yard so she didn't have to deal with it at her house, and let them shit. Like that's a shit human being.
No,
And knowing
choosing to be lazy
yeah,
and kick the can on your messes or your problems and choosing to let someone else deal with them will always be an asshole move.
Yeah.
Always. And that's what this is about. And it's also a doing something that you know will cause a disruption to someone else's life and not giving a shit.
The lady, how would that lady who was walking her dog like it if OP went and let their dog take a shit in their yard?
Right.
They wouldn't like it, and they'd
Turn the
probably get
tables.
pissed off about it.
Right.
And it's like, listen, at the end of the day, just be nice. Just be nice to people. I don't understand why it's so hard.
I saw this thing that said that someone called somebody out for not being like friendly, not being nice, and they said, "It's 2023. I don't have to be nice anymore. I just have to look out for myself because nobody else cares." And I was like, "Damn, like that's super freaking heavy." And I'm like, that is the problem with the world, is that if you're only looking out for yourself and you don't care about other people, you're not leaving this world better than you found it. You're making it more shitty. So while you think that nobody cares about you, like you get what you give. And if you're giving shit in this world, if you're being shitty to other people, eventually you're going to get that back. Like you're never going to right whatever wrong you feel like happened to you. You have to continually be a good person. And sometimes being a good person sucks, but you got to follow through.
The easy choice is rarely the right choice.
Right.
And I think that's what it comes down to here. But I think when you look at the long game here, that kind of mentality where someone is like, I'm just looking out for number one here and I get to be shitty to everyone else.
Right.
Number one, those two things are not mutually exclusive. You can look out for yourself and not project shittiness onto everyone else. Those are two separate things. But also that is the quickest path to living a life of solitude where you're going to be completely alone. Because you're repelling everyone else away from you, and you're going to regret so much of missing out on those relationships that happen during life. As much as a hermit as I am, the relationships that we do have, like a treasure, because those are the experiences that make the days full of fun and joy and all of the things that are beyond checking boxes. You know what I mean? And a person who has that mentality of, I don't have to be nice anymore because it's 2023 and I just have to look out for myself, is going to miss all of that.
Yeah.
And I pity them.
It's just a shitty mindset to have. Like,
Right.
And I mean, that's probably genuinely why we have so many issues we have right now in 2023 and just the world in general. It's like, because people just, it's like people forgot how to be kind and forgot how to, like, it doesn't cost anything to be nice to people. Like,
No.
Just be nice. Just be a decent human being.
And I'm going to work my ass off to be a decent human being because I don't want to leave this world shitty for my kids. Like, I don't want them to have to grow up in a world where that's the truth, where only looking out for yourself matters. I don't want that to be the world that they grow up in, because that would suck for them.
Yeah. That's a life full of
And
pain.
you know what? I told you guys this, but whenever I was at Target, I've had a shitty week, like very like in my head, like just shitty things after shitty things happening, like at home.
It's not all my fault.
No, it's not.
All.
Just not a little bit. No, it's
all.
but this woman came up to me after I loaded my groceries into the car, and I was like, I turned around and I'm like, can I help you? Like, looked at her like,
Who am I about to fight?
Yeah, I was like, what did I do? And she's like, hey, I noticed you were done with your cart. Are you finished? I know how hard it is to like take the cart and put the little one in the car, and I'd like to put it up for you. And I was like, I wanted to cry because I'm like, that was just so like just stranger, genuine kindness. And I'm like, that was just like, it made me realize that I was like having this like moment where I felt like everything was against me. And then I was like, this one kind person was
Meanwhile,
just like,
the introvert is like, why is a stranger coming home?
Yeah, that was exactly what I thought.
I got to talk to. Oh my
I was
God.
like, what did I do?
What did I do?
How did I offend somebody? I'm sorry.
Am I getting tracked down? What did I steal? What am I getting accused from stealing from Target now? Be like, ma'am, I need to see your receipt for those bags you put in your car. It looks like you had more bags and that receipt wasn't long enough. What is it? Open the car.
Right. I was just trying to take more bags so we could line our trash cans at home. Trying to reuse. But no, she was super kind, and like, I don't know, that just meant something to me.
Well, I think when you have the opportunity to do something like that unexpected for someone else,
Right.
and you see it in their eyes, like it has an effect on them. And hopefully that becomes a pay it forward kind of situation where you do someone this kindness, it changes their day, if not just that moment. And then that mindset for you changed at that point, right? And your day became a little less shitty.
Well, it's
Exactly.
like that it's that like you never know what somebody's going through and what they're
Right.
doing, and something just small can change their day. So just be nice to people. Just
So
be nice.
Right.
I do that with holding the door. I hold door at Casey's in particular, because I think it's, for whatever reason, it's one of those places where no one holds the door for anybody. So
Right.
if I see someone 30 feet away, I'm going to hold the door and wait. And if I see them start speeding up, I'm like, you don't have to run. It's
See, that's the
fine.
thing. That's I'm a big door holder too. I always hold the door.
You only hold big doors?
Like, you know what I mean?
Big door holder.
I'm a big door holder. Big door holding guy.
Little doors. He's like, screw it.
Yeah. But like, it is always kind of awkward, that space between somebody walking in and holding the door. And like, when do you do that? Is there a point where you're like, somebody's further away and like you're walking and you're like, that's going to be an awkward amount of time.
You know what? I embrace the awkward. Like if I
He
can,
really does.
if I
See,
can
I
see
don't.
them,
I would be like, it's going to be awkward. Then I'm going to be standing there, and what if they know? I'm like, look, if they're like close to me or like
if I can
not too
see
far
them,
away, I'll do it and hold the door. Sometimes it's going to be too far. I'm just like, I don't want to feel, because I don't want it to be awkward for them. Because like you said, then they're going to have to feel like they're going to have to rush. And they're like, this guy's holding the door. And I gotta
Dustin
hurry up
sees
and get
somebody
up
2 blocks away, and he's
Seriously.
like, I'll hold it. It's
He's
fine.
like, that guy at that stoplight,
But-
I think, is coming in here. Hold on, let me hold
But
the door.
I will say, at home, if I leave the door open longer than 2.5 seconds, he's like, shut the door. You're going to let the heat out. You're going to let the cold air out. Shut the damn door.
who are you opening the door for at home?
The dogs, obviously.
No. It is just like it's well after the dogs have made their transfer, and it's just hanging open there.
That's not true.
So yeah, she's opening the door for.
I'll leave we have like a second
Insects.
gate. We have a pool in the backyard. So we have like our back door, which has its own set of like Navy can't get out. And then you go out and there's another gate before the pool. So you have to open that gate to let the dogs out. So I open the door and just walk out and let the dogs out. But then sometimes Luna, like, you have to escort her to the backyard. So I'll just leave the door open. And then the fridge is also open because I was actually in the fridge
It's
getting
beeping.
Meanwhile, Dusty's just sitting in the corner, slipping slowly into madness. Just like the vein is just popping further and further out of his head. What are you doing?
The other
Shut the doors.
The other night he was like, are you just in slug mode? Like you're leaving a trail everywhere. And I was like, I am not to be with right now. You need to mind your words.
Here's the deal. She was in slug mode, and I get it. It happens, but she had opened like a 6-pack of Diet Coke bottles, and they have a little plastic ring thing on top. And first there was a pair of scissors laying there on the edge of the counter. And I'm like, okay, we have a toddler. These have to be put up. And then as I pick those up, I see the plastic ring thing sitting right next to it. And I'm like, okay. And then there was like 1 or 2 other things. And I'm like, okay, there's just a trail. I'm like, you're in slug mode. Which I'm like, I had to just follow you around and pick up the remnants of everything that you had started doing.
You didn't. I would have gone back to them and got them. That's just how my mind works. I would have come back around to get my things.
3 days later?
No.
See the look.
Also, that look is exactly how I imagined you looking when you sent that message this morning. You're like,
his message?
Yeah. And I read that I read that in the tone of voice on the one where you're like, husband, Dustin.
That was the we're going to start 15 minutes later than anticipated message. And I sent a Joey from Friends. What was it? Just a shocked face.
And I said, you.
In a few more nicer words.
I love you, but
yeah. I was fine. It was fine. I went home and had a cup of coffee, and it was wonderful. It's a great morning. Mm-hmm. Basically, just don't be a shitty human being is the moral.
That's right, Dustin. That is the moral of the story.
Speaking of being shitty,
boom, 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 boom.
That was a bad segue again.
Removing shittiness.
Yeah.
Removing shittiness.
You know, so I talked about it in the Steve podcast. You may be an asshole, but you don't have to be full of shit. And that
facts
that works well into this.
Yeah,
and
basically defines Dustin.
All right, so here to talk about this more is Candy Thunder.
Yeah, so our friends at Broom, they reached out to us and sent us some product and Dusty Talks. If you've seen the Dusty Thunder podcast, which again, this will be out the week after, but it's out now, right? Though?
Yeah, came out 57 minutes ago as of the time of this recording.
57 minutes ago. So if you haven't seen it, Dusty and Steve talked a little bit about it and just how like it's a great way to get your fiber.
Yeah,
so it's
promotes good gut health, which I think everybody needs.
Instead of protect the cake, it's protect the gut health.
Protect the gut. Yeah.
Protect the gut. Trust your gut.
And listen, hey, OP.
Oh yeah, that's vegan.
Broom is completely vegan. So I would recommend maybe, checking it out for your friend.
That's a stocking stuffer.
Because it definitely sounds like she's kind of a shitty person. And so get her some Broom and you can make sure to say that it's vegan. Also non-GMO and gluten-free. So I think
you can enjoy it in front of your vegan friend.
Yeah, you can enjoy it in front of the vegan friend. Next time she comes over, you can just put a scoop in a glass of water and be like, hey, I got something for you. Yeah. And be like, trust me, it's vegan. And then in the end, be like, no, I'm just kidding. I just ground up some steak and
there's some chicken bones.
Yeah, some chicken broth, and I'll use all that stuff for it. Yeah.
Mix it in a glass of chicken broth.
Yeah.
So I think whenever I first heard about this, my immediate assumption was probably like a lot of people's, and that was the old kind of call and blow, like shit a rope kind of. Like immediate, just explosive.
You love that term.
A shit a rope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was the first thing I thought of. He
loves that term. It was
the first thing I thought of. But then the more that we've learned about it, it's really about like gut stability. And I think for a lot of people who have, not just an irregularity, but goes through feelings of feeling bloated or just irregular, not healthy. There were plenty of times wherever we're like, having a hard time trying to choose what to eat because we just don't feel great.
Right.
And that drives a lot of things. And I think that's an indicator that there is some stability that needs to be created there beyond like probiotics and that kind of thing. I think there's a reset that needs to happen. And this, the Broom part of it is kind of the reset. It's a clean out and stabilization.
That's what I say. Clean up your area.
Yeah. Clean out and stabilization, which was an eye opener for me. It's less comical, than I thought it would be. But the whole, you may be an asshole, but you don't have to be full of shit. That still works.
Still works.
So we're hanging on to that for a while here.
So let's give I'll be your Vanna White, and you can give your line.
Okay.
Go for it.
You may be an asshole, but you don't have to be full of shit. Broom.
Yeah.
Give it the Alexis tap.
Just the Alexis. Boop. Check it out. Yeah, check it out. So I'm sure that we'll have some links in the bio and learn more about Broom. And
there is a discount code that you can use if you want to use it.
What was
I would suggest
code?
you use
it. It was
Crash Dummies.
Crash Dummies, yeah.
Yes.
It was like all uppercase, all one word, Crash Dummy.
Strawberry flavor. They sent us the strawberry flavor, and you just mix it in some water, and helps with bloating.
Natural
which is a
way
big thing too,
to help get rid of unwanted bloating. They've got an app you can download, check in on.
They've got some really cool and fun videos and marketing stuff too. Like they like to have fun with it, and so
You know, there's like when you get a new phone, and it's not so much if you get it like direct from Google, which is how we've been doing it for a while now. But if you get a phone from AT&T or whatever, it comes with all of those stupid apps that you're never going to use preloaded into there. They call it bloatware. My vision was like taking one of those new phones and seeing all those apps and just like pouring a bunch of this onto it.
Yeah.
And removes
Get
bloating.
rid of it.
Removes bloating. I don't know that one probably takes a little bit too much brain power to explain or understand. But the you may be an asshole, but you don't have to be full of shit. That's about as simple as it gets right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's really cool, and they had reached out to us, so we are now officially incorporating them into some content now, and we'll be providing more updates as we go. I'm sure that Cole and Broom, leading into Thanksgiving week is going to be an interesting experiment here.
Yeah,
we'll see.
You have to unbutton those pants after you have Thanksgiving dinner.
Yep,
I'm gonna be wearing some leggings.
I'm gonna take this like Thanksgiving Day. And I'm going to be in the bathroom 30 minutes later like, I've birthed a turkey. It's an entire turkey. I've birthed it. It's flapping its wings.
Okay.
How did it come out with the stuffing still intact? I found the figgy pudding.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I was thinking if we didn't.
Welcome to my life.
I was thinking if we didn't laugh, he would stop instead of encouraging.
No, I will just keep going.
This is my life
going.
But you know what? You have nice hair, so
that's true. Thank you.
Yeah.
Trying to come back from that one, huh?
From the hair?
Yeah.
I didn't know Dusty's hair couldn't.
Seriously,
it wasn't a joking matter.
You talk about
oh my
sensitive subject. Listen, people.
The whole video was a joke.
For the four of you out there watching. Dusty's hair is fine. No one has control over Dusty's hair but Dusty.
Exactly.
He can do what he wants with his hair. It's called giving someone shit. And so for the vegan lady in the story who's probably watching this and offended that we said something about his hair, it's just hair. Okay.
Yeah, we were just playing.
We were just playing. And I don't know if you noticed, like anybody who's complaining about that in that video, like that video was comedy.
It was satire.
Satire. It was not real. I know that we did such a good job. And like, listen, Lorne Michaels has already reached out from Saturday Night Live for all of us because we were so good in that video and it was so realistic. Yeah. But it was a joke. So let's just calm down on the hair thing.
However, I am absolutely going to make a protect the hair shirt.
Please, dear God, don't.
I need to protect my hair. I need to order some hair serum.
Candy Thunder loses an entire Moira wig every time she gets out of the shower.
Yeah, it's insane.
And sometimes I'll find it still in there hanging on the wall.
No, I don't want it to go down the drain. That's rare. That's rare.
And the Moira inside me is like, Rachel, what are you doing in here? Don't put those two together. They don't like each other.
But he's like, you can't put them in the box together. You know they don't get along. I wish that show was on Netflix so I could easily watch it.
Do you not have Hulu?
I do, but I hate that stupid
I do hate Hulu. It's terrible. And the fact that they're combining Disney Plus and Hulu, like hopefully Disney, get it together. Come on.
Listen, say what you want about what they have as far as selection, but the best streaming is Netflix. Netflix, their app on the phone works without fail all the time. Mm-hmm. It is the easiest when you're watching it on a smart TV at home.
Preach.
Every other one, like when you watch Disney, you try to do all that on your phone, it takes forever and it doesn't work. And also, it does this and Netflix has it perfect.
It'll skip 4 episodes.
Yeah, Hulu is
terrible.
Hulu is awful.
Yeah,
it is awful.
It's really rough. User experience team.
That's why I don't even use it. I mean, I don't even watch Hulu because every time I do,
well, here's the funny part. It
logs me out all the time.
Yep.
You still have the subscription
every time. No, I don't. I mean, yes, I do.
I am not using somebody else's.
I am not using somebody else's.
Tony, that's piracy.
I said I am not using someone else's.
He lives in a household that has it.
Oh, there you go.
We'll just say that.
Yeah.
Hey, so
Sure.
One last topic here to dive into as we get closer to the holidays is holiday traditions. And something that we were talking about is, you've got the traditions that come from your family, from when you were a kid, or that you learned back then. But then I think as you start having kids and building your own family, you have the opportunity to start some new traditions there too. So it really sparked a discussion for us about, what new traditions would we like to start, and headed down that road. But Tony, what are some holiday traditions that you have either had and wish you still had, or new ones that you do now?
I'm a bad one to start with through this because I honestly don't even. I don't.
Didn't you have a Thanksgiving, like night before Thanksgiving tradition?
Oh yeah, I mean.
I
mean, since you're a big Thanksgiving guy.
That's Ted's. Yeah, that's Ted's tradition.
The big Thanksgiving guy. I'm not saying I'm necessarily a big Thanksgiving guy. I'm just saying that we go there's all the build up to Halloween, and then we have Halloween. And then it's like, okay, Halloween's over. Let's get focus on Christmas. It's like, hold on. There's another guy in there. And his name is Mr. Thanksgiving.
But why can't Thanksgiving and Christmas get along?
Because they're separate. I'm not saying they can't get along, but what is the problem of waiting? Like, why do we need...
Because I want to enjoy those lights. I need those lights. Those lights are magic on Thanksgiving, and those lights are magic on Christmas.
Until Thanksgiving, they're Thanksgiving lights.
They are. No, it's, listen, I will die on this hill.
I guarantee
I will die on the hill that, you know what? Come the day after Thanksgiving, go full Christmas mode. You want to dress up in a Santa suit every day, make snow angels, and sing Deck the Halls 24 hours a day. I don't care.
You don't think Santa likes Thanksgiving? I guarantee you that guy's enjoying Thanksgiving dinner. Vegan or not, whatever he is.
He might be. But you know what? Like, he knows that the day after Thanksgiving, he's got to kick it into gear, and it's really time to focus up. But just let it be. Just let it be till the day after.
Let it be.
The day after Thanksgiving. Then kick it into full Christmas mode. Do whatever you want. But give Thanksgiving its credit. And give it your attention like you would give Christmas.
I do. I cook a lot of stuff for Thanksgiving. I make lots of Thanksgiving dishes.
I think you can do both.
Yep. Agreed.
No.
You can love more than one thing, Tony.
But, I mean, I don't really have any traditions, really, for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
I didn't say...
I don't know what he said.
That got twisted on me.
I kind of didn't hear him, so I'm just going to pretend that whatever he said. But,
I mean, I can love more than one thing. And I said, excuse me?
No.
So Thanksgiving...
Speaking of shit, he just stepped in it.
Yeah. Thanksgiving, there's a thing where everybody comes back to hometown and they all go out the night before. So it's like a class reunion.
And again, it's not quite what it used to be either, because now everybody's
they're having kids
and families and kids and all that stuff. But
damn kids,
I know they always get in the way of it.
They ruin everything.
Sometimes. No, the kids are wonderful, but so I mean, I don't, and I think it's. I mean, my holidays are. My dad lives in Florida, so my holidays are. It just kind of depends. Sometimes I go down there for him. Sometimes I stay here, so it just kind of. It's not really consistent, so I don't. Yeah, I don't really have anything. We did used to, when I was younger, we would go to the lake the day after Thanksgiving every year. And like our neighborhood down there, basically everybody would bring their leftovers.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
We would have like
Thanksgiving
a
2.0
dinner thing at the lake. But yeah, other than that, we don't really have any crazy traditions or anything anymore.
Something about Thanksgiving leftovers that
they just hit.
Oh
different.
Man, the roll, like the cold turkey on the roll, so good.
Thanksgiving leftovers is the best. We are doing Stormsgiving this year with the team
tomorrow.
Yep, so that's going to be exciting. And
yes.
that's a newer tradition. What traditions do you have from your childhood?
So I think making Christmas cookies is something that we've done. Like as far back as I can remember, my mom she has the sugar cookie recipe, and it is so damn good. Like even without icing, these cookies are the freaking bomb. But so we make like 2 batches of sugar cookies, which is probably like over 100 cookies.
It's an insane amount of cookies.
A lot of cookies.
It is so many cookies. And And then it's like we have to, like, both families get together. I guess there's 3 families now because my brother. So all of the siblings with my mom and dad, we get together, we ice cookies. My mom makes the icing, she makes the cookies. And we have like all these different cookie cutters, and it's just a good time. It's just bonding time, fun time.
And the kids put those beads that'll break your teeth.
Oh, we threw all those sprinkles away because our kids would put up those like giant, like silver looking BB things.
You like take a bite into it and be like, all right, call the dentist.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I've bitten into a pearl.
We've now we're like, okay, it's only like the flat sprinkles or like the sugar crystals.
Things
like,
that are truly edible.
Yes. Something that's softer.
So when it comes to cookie decorating, what's your strategy? Are you a decorate as many as possible, or are you do a smaller number but try to make them masterpieces?
No, I like the cookies solid color with the sugar sprinkles, lots of icing. That's my jam. I don't care about like making them like all artsy and stuff. I like to just solid color. I need it to be like pleasing to the eye in order to enjoy it. And when you get all those colors in there and stuff, I prefer it.
I expect to see some Taylor Swift decorated cookies for Christmas.
Oh, that's actually a good idea.
Yeah, there need to be
you need to find some cookie cutters that are T-Swift.
We've made it so far into this without mentioning her name. I figure we had to.
We decided while planning this that it would be good to go one Thunder and Spark podcast without having a Taylor segment.
But is it Thunder and Spark if you don't talk about Taylor Swift?
It's fine.
I did buy cat and dog cookie cutters this year, so
nice.
I'm really
what about
excited.
a cat dog cookie cutter? Cat dog.
Oh, I did not like that show.
Really? I just like cat dog.
But I'll make sure to get the 2 cats for Taylor.
Yeah.
We should make like a dog cookie and then like a poo bag cookie and have it be a DFHB cookie.
Right.
So my approach on cookie decorating time is to do like 3, but to make them as elaborate as possible. Like with the toothpick on the Christmas tree, trying to like feather the icing to make it look more like actual pine needles.
It's always got. I mean, it's got to be perfectly.
He joins in at like we're like 3/4 of the way through, and he joins in, and you ice your beautiful cookies. They are beautiful, by the way. You do an amazing job with the cookies, but your output is not enough. Because the kids tire out, and then we'd have to ice the rest of the cookies. And these cookies iced are just so good. Yeah, they really are amazing cookies.
But I know that they're all going to get iced. Like the army will ice them. That's never a real concern. It's more about the experience.
I need you to be part of that army.
Okay. I'll do better, Mama. I'm sorry. I'll do better.
And see,
that's the voice he uses for Luna.
Even in the traditions, it's all about Christmas.
We're talking about Christmas traditions. Oh, that's literally what the topic is.
It's a holiday tradition. There's Thanksgiving and Christmas.
I have a Thanksgiving.
Nobody gets that excited about Thanksgiving traditions. We're all about the Christmas cookies.
A Thanksgiving tradition. It's probably
get drunk and watch football.
It's probably like 6 years old. But I have been making cranberry jalapeno dip, and you put it over cream cheese.
Oh yeah,
and it is delicious.
Okay, when it comes to Thanksgiving, for the Thanksgiving dinner and the cranberry sauce, are you team like I don't even like the stuff, but are you team like make a homemade one, or it's got to be out of the can with the little like looks out of the can?
We've always had homemade cranberry sauce. I make the cranberry jalapeno dip, and we use it.
I'll use that. I can't tell you the last time I had like cranberry sauce. Just normal.
Well, like the cranberry stuff. Like my dad would always be like, "No, it's got to be the one out of the can where you can see like the outline of the can on the like thing." And nobody do that. It's just one of those like things you have to have.
My mom makes cranberry sauce, but she makes her version with like oranges and cranberries, and it's actually really tasty.
What's the best kind of turkey? What kind of turkey do you like when it comes to? Do you like the oven baked, the smoked, deep fried?
I've never had a deep fried one.
You've never had a deep fried turkey?
Nope. It's good. Oven baked, dark meat.
Gotta go the dark meat.
It's just so much better.
Yeah.
And ham. I love ham.
Dark meat.
I'll take ham over turkey any day of the week. I'm not a big turkey fan, but
I love dark meat with stuffing and like gravy over the stuffing. Oh, so good.
Dark meat as leftovers on a sandwich with mayo. That is good. That's the only time that I like dark turkey meat.
Also, my favorite Thanksgiving side is well, I don't know. It's kind of tough because I love a good green bean casserole, but I also love cornbread casserole like with the corn and that's my favorite.
I think
good.
stuffing
That's my favorite.
and sweet potatoes are
not
my
a stuffing.
Wait, the cornbread casserole is the one with like the corn flakes on top?
No, it's like with corn in it. It's kind of like cornbread, but it's more like
It's good.
Sounds
cornbread
delicious.
casserole. It's so good. It's my favorite side to go with Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner.
This is making me
I know.
really
How
hungry.
I need-
Oh my
Go
gosh.
home and eat some chicken Alfredo.
we when we make the leftovers though, like taking the gravy and putting it on the stuffing and then heating it up and putting just that little bit of stuffing on the sandwich with the turkey.
Do you make the? Do you make?
It's like the moist maker from Friends.
That's
That's where it came from.
Monica sandwich,
Yeah.
like with the soaked piece of bread in between.
But I use stuffing. I put the gravy on the stuffing and then put it on the sandwich, and and then you can put a little bit of the cranberry jalapeno dip on it.
So good.
Oh my god, I'm telling you right
It's
now,
like
it's
an
delicious.
entire freaking Thanksgiving feast in your mouth.
It's so good.
So there was a tradition that we had whenever I was a kid, and I pitched it to Candy Thunder last night, and she was like, "No," but this was
Not
was
in a
the
mean
tradition.
way. It's just I just find it. I don't know.
No, I believe your exact words were, "Let me shut that down." Whenever I was a kid, my dad would come get us and
Trying
throw
to
a
be
blanket,
diplomatic.
throw a blanket over our head. You're like, "Not in a mean way. I didn't." I'm like, "No, actually, you're pretty sure you said." I'm going to shut that down.
I don't know what the nice way to say is. No.
He would throw a blanket over our head and carry us through the living room that held the gifts and everything. You know, Santa had come, obviously, so we couldn't see those yet. He'd carry us into the kitchen, and we would all have like fresh homemade cinnamon rolls, and we'd have cinnamon rolls before we opened gifts.
Cinnamon rolls do sound good.
And my pitch here was not doing that because she likes to do the gift thing first, and I understand that, but I want to have cinnamon rolls, like big ass, fluffy, freaking beautiful, delicious cinnamon rolls. They just sound so good. Morning of.
And I said, I was agreeing. I said,
You agree in the most disagreeing way that I've ever heard somebody agree in. Oh yeah.
That was the most passive aggressive.
I didn't mean it like that. I was gonna say, I hear you.
Anyway,
I'm listening to what you're saying.
but no.
But no, I love cinnamon rolls. Actually, I would love to make like the bread from Silver Dollar City.
Oh yeah.
So good. It's so good. I've had my body weight in that bread in the past week.
Speaking of,
So good.
this is like food related, but it was an interesting conversation that came up the other night, and I'm curious to get your guys' opinion on it. And they're probably going to hate me for bringing this up, but we had a conversation the other day on Friday night after a few beverages about a couple of different topics. Number one, milk. What do you think if you see just a grown man like just drinking a glass of milk? Is that like odd?
No.
What is it with?
So okay, first off, if you just had milk, the guy just has milk and just drinking a glass of milk, is that not weird?
It
My
doesn't.
dad drinks milk.
It doesn't seem odd to me.
Maybe that's why it doesn't seem odd to me, because my dad's always had like a glass of milk with dinner or something.
I wouldn't do it, but I'm not a milk guy, so I mean, it would be odd for me. But
Do you put milk on your cereal?
Well, that's different. I mean, I don't. Okay, do you drink the milk out of the cereal afterwards?
Of course.
No, I don't do that. I don't do that.
I
I
think
dump
you.
it out.
Really?
Yeah, I give it to the dog. He's like, here, you want some milk?
Dustin would literally destroy me
I just
if I offered my milk to
when
the
I was
dog.
a kid,
no,
I
it's
was-
because it would literally destroy Luna.
That's
Like
true.
she
Well,
would
when I was
run
a
around the house
kid-
spraying her ass over everything.
when I was a kid, I used to have to drink, like my parents made me drink milk every night with dinner. Like I had a glass of milk, and so then I think I did
With dinner?
milk. Yeah,
Huh?
yeah. Like I was always mad because they would always have iced tea, and I would have to drink milk.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I didn't know that either until this weekend when we were bringing up the subject. Garrett said the same thing. Like when he was a kid, his parents made him drink milk too, and so then maybe that's part of it. But we had the comment that came up because our buddy was like talking about how he likes milk and how he just drinks milk, and we were like, we just thought it was weird, just a grown man just drinking milk to drink milk. And then so everywhere the rest of the night we asked people about this topic, and it was a very interesting conversation because every girl we asked was like, "Oh my God, that's weird."
Really?
Yeah, they all thought it was weird. They all thought it was weird. And then the other question was, we'll probably have to cut this part out, but about potatoes, like I think that we can all agree that potatoes are a great thing, like French fries, baked potato, tater tots, all this.
Really
Mashed
concerned about which way this is
Mashed
going.
potatoes. One of my friends, I learned his stance on potatoes, that apparently he doesn't like potatoes because he says they're a peasant food. And we were like, what? And he just like thinks that they're just cheap and just not like, he's like,
Oh my God, this is the guy from that story.
and I was like,
Do you remember the potato story?
Yes.
okay.
This is
And
the
I was,
guy.
and we could not get our head around it. We were like, what do you like? We asked everybody their stance on potatoes too. And they're like, yeah, they're good. And he's like, they're just like, you can get them, a bag of them for like $1. And we were like, well, when's the last?
Entirely not correct.
And so, I mean, we were to the point, we were looking up the groceries on Walmart and like doing all this. And
They cost way more than $1.
yeah, and he's just apparently I didn't know this about him, and I've known him my entire life, and he's very anti-potato, and it also sparked a huge debate and conversation.
He's the guy in the story. The guy that was freaked out because there were potatoes on his plate.
I won't
the girl
mention his
ripped
name
him.
in order to protect his identity, but you know who you are.
Maybe he has some kind of starch aversion, but the whole
No.
peasant comment thing is concerning.
Right.
That's
It's
concerning.
weird. Yeah.
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 It's like, what is he? Is he like the king of England? Or
That's
some
what
shit?
I said. I was like, what? I was like, you too good for a potato? So like apparently he just
What's wrong with potatoes?
that's what I'm saying. And then his
Our
argument
audience,
was like, that's what the poor Irish people ate back in the day. And I'm like, we're not back in the day. This is modern America.
Some of the
And I
most
was like,
bougie dishes on the planet.
dude, we
have
were sitting there
potatoes.
listing off everything. We were like,
I'm offended.
baked potato. We were like tater tots, hash browns, French fries,
He's like peasant.
scallop potatoes,
Poor
mashed
people.
potatoes, vodka.
You know how I feel about mashed
Muggle
potatoes.
food.
I know.
I love mashed potatoes.
Muggle food.
It was like, if, I was like, everything.
He's got the magic as might.
It was
mentality.
quite the takeaway, but we did learn that the whole milk thing is apparently a thing.
Wait, is it not the same guy?
Two different guys.
Okay, thank goodness.
No, one's the milk guy, one's the potato guy.
I have to just tell, this is like a little bit of a side story, but last night for dinner, I asked Navy what she wanted, and she said, I want mashed potatoes, like plain as day. I'm like, I got you. I can make that. I can do that. So I made this girl a grilled cheese and mashed potatoes, and it was freaking delicious. The potatoes were good. They had butter, like salt and pepper. They were yummy. I take it to her, and she's like, I don't like this. And I was like, excuse the out of
It's a power move.
I was
It's a
like,
power move. Establishing
Excuse
dominance.
me?
Toddlers establishing dominance, I've learned, is also a thing. that-
Oh my gosh. And so she refused to eat it, and she said, I want a banana. And I'm like,
That's
well,
great.
you're not having a banana unless you
be like, you're gonna eat
eat
these
some of the
potatoes.
actual food that you need to eat.
Maybe deep down, she's an elitist and doesn't like the peasant food.
Yeah. So I gave her, so of course she didn't eat it. I ended up eating it. And I was dipping the grilled cheese in the mashed potatoes, which by the way you should try it. It's delicious. It was really good. A very peasant style
When
food.
peasant food
Yeah.
combined.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, seriously.
And then I swallowed it down with a big glass of milk.
Back where we grew up in flea
I think
ball.
like one of the combinations he was talking about is like he'd have a bowl of chili and then have milk with it. I'm like, that's just
Yeah. Kind of like rinses out
if
the
it's
flavor.
spicy
Okay, maybe you
chili,
guys
if
are
it's
some of
spicy
those
stuff,
weird
milk is a
adult-
diffuser for spicy
adult
food, but
milk
the whole
drinkers or
grilled
something.
cheese dipped in mashed potatoes, that's like the
It was so good.
that was a delicacy back in flea ball
Okay.
where we only had a bowl of brown.
So like you don't think it'd be so like what if you go out somewhere and obviously not for like dinner, maybe
Game of
for a
Thrones.
dinner, but a breakfast like and the guy just orders milk. You don't think that's kind of weird?
I wouldn't
We're
go
back
out
to milk.
I wouldn't go out to a restaurant and order milk, but I
just
don't
think
think
it's
there's
a
anything
little
wrong with having a big glass. It has to be really cold milk.
What kind of milk? Whole milk?
I mean, that's obviously the best, but 2% is fine as well.
See, only time I use milk is for my cereal, but I don't drink the milk.
I wonder if the OP from that, or the Alicia from the vegan story, do you think she gets offended when people drink milk?
Probably.
Do you think she gets upset when people eat potatoes
Why?
because they have eyes?
Can she eat it? He got both of us right there. He got both of us because we were both ready. We were both ready for some kind of like actual thing, and then he got both of us right there. He set the hook, and we were in. We were like, I was like, why?
Your play-by-play of this joke is just making it 10 times better.
Oh God!
I don't understand.
So proud of myself, right?
But like the discussion, and I'm sure some of this potato discussion was
take
like,
the milk, take the potatoes, put them together,
and make mashed
add
potato.
some butter, make mashed potatoes.
Seriously.
There, that problem is solved.
It was funny. It was really a good conversation topic because it fueled like the conversation the rest of the night with everyone we interacted with. So like with the bartenders and we're like, hey, what do you think?
What did
about
Lindsay
this?
say about the milk?
Well, we were not using names for this.
Oh,
Bleep
She
that
said
out,
Stella.
please.
No, we all agree that milk was
it was weird.
It was weird.
Hey, so
It was weird to be an adult and drinking, like just drinking milk.
I'm not concerned about the milk thing. Maybe your friend was breastfed for too long or something.
I'm
but
concerned about the potato thing.
potato thing I'm concerned about. What nationality is that friend?
Very white,
Okay, but what nationality?
American.
Okay.
Why does he
Does he
think
have any kind of?
I mean, like
What's
back
the
down the
lineage?
road, German maybe. I don't know. I think,
Well,
I think that's what we established. No, we got pretty deep into the potato conversation.
I'm wondering if there's some kind of heritage that is actually more of a hatred of like Irish people than it is of the potato. Maybe the potato is symbolic here of something deeper.
I don't know. I know his parents, and they're good potato eating folk. I don't know.
Have you ever seen them eat a potato?
I mean, I haven't.
He's like, oh my gosh.
I haven't actively watched, but now I'm gonna have to ask him.
Yeah.
I'm about to just text him and be like, "Listen, what's your guys' stance on potatoes, and what did you do to your son?"
Yes.
They told his son that
I
potatoes
think it's
were
worth diving into.
if
I just don't know how you.
potatoes are peasant food, consider me a peasant.
Seriously,
it's
that's
fine.
what I said. I was like, really, it's just you.
Boil them, mash
I was
them,
like,
put them
do you
in a
just have? Do you just have a hatred of poor people? Is that what
Consider
it
me
is?
poor
I
because
was
I'm
like,
all
listen.
about the potato.
But I was like, how can you not like a potato?
all about the potato.
There's so many good things that come from a potato. A potato is the most versatile vegetable out there. Because think about it.
Truth.
Like you want something good and hearty, mashed potatoes. You want some, something quick and junk food, potato chips. You want something, crispy and fried, French fries. You're thirsty, vodka. It's really the most like
What?
vodka. Potatoes
I don't
is used
get
to
it.
make vodka.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
She's
I
like,
It
was
was
like-
also a joke.
Tony, you just took a
my couple
hard
of
turn
jokes
there.
that I've tried to land today have not landed like that Mr. Potato Head joke landed, or the potatoes with eyes
Oh, yeah.
joke, whatever, landed way better than anything I've tried today. So
I didn't know that.
I'm just over here swinging a miss. Make sure we insert some crickets here whenever I try to tell a joke. Maybe, I don't know. Sorry.
We normally laugh at I normally laugh at things that you say.
Yeah.
It's hit or miss.
Okay.
Hit or miss.
Anyway, we are
I'm
going
team
to have.
potato, though.
We're all team potato.
I am against the milk.
Yeah, so maybe tell us.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts
I
on
feel like-
potatoes and milk for adults?
After
And-
the potato story that we posted, I think it was in the podcast that we did together, but everybody was team potato. Like, I don't know that we saw anybody that was
Yeah.
like, I don't like potatoes.
Is there anyone who shares the viewpoint that potatoes are peasant food and naturally avoids them because of that? That's
a weird
That's
thing.
the interesting
Yeah,
thing.
that's a weird
But if
trait.
you are one of those people, like, where does that come from?
And
I'd be
why?
interested to know. Yeah.
Why?
Anyway,
What do potatoes do to you?
What
What
did potatoes do?
by the time you see this, it will be post Thanksgiving. So we hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving feast, and it'll officially be full throttle Christmas time at that point. Deal with
Ooh,
it, Tony
yes.
Jabroni.
It's acceptable
And
then.
special treat. Our December podcast is actually going to be Christmas stories, and it is going to be with the three
The
of us.
Dusty Thunder podcast will be
Dusty
the three of us. Yeah. So that will be a special treat.
The one that people watch.
We'll dive into that, and I'll be
yes,
trying to pick out some good cinnamon roll recipes for Christmas morning for us.
If you guys have any fun Christmas stories that we could
or
use.
wild
for
or
the,
crazy. Like, listen, we know you guys
Yes.
all have some crazy mother-in-laws.
Bring on that Christmas drama.
Some crazy grandma, grandpa at the dinner table. Some good holiday stories. Send them all to us.
Bring on
We need
the
them.
potato haters.
We probably have some stories of our own, but it's not like AITA or drama or anything like that.
I
But
feel like the holidays can bring out the worst in people too sometimes. So I bet there's got to be some good stories out there.
I might be like the closest thing to a real life Clark Griswold when it comes to Halloween, and I've got some stories and actually some
Halloween?
video. I'm sorry, some for Christmas.
We've switched to.
I've got
Months ago.
I've got some video footage of some of my faux pas with
Yeah, that
Christmas
was
lights
amazing.
and stuff that we have not shown to anybody in the Dusty Thunder world yet. So maybe we'll get into some of
Maybe
those
we can add
conversations.
those in the holiday traditions part. We'll add another Nest
go.
Cam video of Dusty's Christmas Clark Griswold moment.
Damn Nest Cam.
I'm not even in this video, but you can hear me. You can hear me. It's great.
I do want to say, like we talked about, like your hair and stuff, but like we give each other shit. It's like it's not.
That's our love language.
Yeah, it's not. We're not
Truly.
being shitty to one another. We're just giving each other a hard time.
Some days you should listen to how me and Candy go back
man.
and forth at each other.
Sometimes
It's
it's
really
you would
funny.
think that sometimes that we just completely dislike each other, and sometimes he may not like me. I'm not.
I mean, I don't know. I quit 2 or 3 times a week.
There's some days that he just puts on his headphones and pretends not to hear me, and vice versa. But what were you saying? I wasn't listening.
And it's
So,
really funny.
if we are giving
she'll
each
have
other-
a zinger ready that she's worked on, practiced instead of like, and she does really good at it because she fires it off so quick. But it's funny because we know that she's practiced that because like, but she'll
Sometimes
just
I
fire,
don't.
she'll just fire some out and then it'll just be like, wow. I don't remember what it was the other day. You did one the other day and
And it
you were
was
just like fired
Jesse,
off. And
yeah.
I'm like,
Jesse was dying.
I was like, okay.
I will stick to this assessment until the day that I die. Candy Thunder is the funniest person I have ever met in my entire life, especially when she's a little gummied. And maybe
I know.
someday we'll get to share that version of her with you because it is too damn funny and everything is hilarious.
My eyes might be too heavy for a podcast. They're like not even
Dude,
really.
I always feel in my eyes first. They get really like last night I was kind of walking around. I was like, okay.
I don't even take the
I'm
real
like
gummies.
blinking and I'm like, why aren't they opening?
Tony's been on a date with himself and he's like, I think I got roofied.
Literally, I'm like, there's no one to blame but myself. I woke up this morning and I go, what happened last night?
There's nobody else in the house.
Woke up naked at someone else's house.
I was like, well, I
damn.
guess it was a good night. I was like, I don't know.
I feel like I slept good last night.
I did have a funny moment though. About 3 a.m. I apparently rolled over and hit the remote control and had the volume up all the way because all of a sudden I got woken up by like some ad.
You're like, I'm under
loud on the
attack.
TV, and it's literally like 4 a.m. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? And then I couldn't find the remote, and I'm just like, do I just leave it or do I have to get up and look for the remote? And there was still some remnants of the gummy and the wine there, and I was like, ooh, all right. It's like everybody just calm down. Everybody just calm down.
You're the only
here
one in
for a
the
second.
room. Everyone calm down.
Everybody just calm down. Everybody just calm down. Let's just take a minute. Let's just take a minute here and assess the situation. And then I
Did you
realized
find
I'm
the
talking
remote?
to myself. Yeah, I found it. I was like, and I turned it off. I was like, oof, that was wild.
You know,
That's when I'm
on the
like-
other side of the house, your roommates are like, what in the is going on?
Dude, I was like, yeah.
No one was home but him.
It was just me. I had the
Yeah.
whole place to myself.
Oh, that makes it even spookier.
That's how I still don't know how I got roofied last night. I'll be honest, I roofied myself basically on a weekly basis. Not actually, but that's like the running joke is God or something. And the next day you're like, oh shit. Like, I think I got roofied.
Ted's a pro.
I went too hard.
Ted did it.
Yeah.
Poor Tony.
If that were to happen to me, Dustin has our whole house set up that is controlled by Google. So I just have to say, like, hey, Google, turn off whatever TV, and it'll turn it off. And at first I was like, this is unnecessary. And now I'm like, Google's not working.
I just wait. I woke up
broken.
and I was like, I woke up in a state of chaos, just screaming. I'm like, what is happening? What's the remote? Who turned on the TV? Oh, it was me.
Hey.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I was saying, speaking of that, Navy Thunder, who now grows up in a house that is Google based, set her first Google timer. And I didn't ask her to set it. She just did it by herself. And because she heard me set a 10-minute timer to leave for her doctor's appointment. And then she looked at it and she was like, she asked it to set the timer, and then it set it. And she was like,
I've done good.
Yeah, I did it.
I did it.
And then I said, a good job. And she rolled over and started crying. I was like, me too, girl. Me too. I don't know why, but yeah.
Gravy.
Oh, Lord.
I forget what I was going to say.
She's just too much.
Yeah, she is too much. Oh, I remember. And then we'll close out here. But it hasn't happened yet. But the new Christmas light show that is only phase 1, complete phase 2 is in progress, will be Google Home integrated as well. So we can say shit like, hey, Google, let it snow. And it will perform an applicable show. This is going to happen. It's going to happen. Anyway, this has been episode 5 of Thunder and Spark.
Cinco.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I hope you had a great time with us today. We will see you soon. By the time this comes out, we will have gone through Thanksgiving, so I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas coming up.
If you celebrate that.
If you celebrate that.
Yes.
If not, I hope you had.
What's the Canadian one? It's like the day after, isn't it? It's like Boxing Day or something? Or is that a separate holiday, but it's like, isn't that something?
I'm not sure. Let us know what holidays you have in November and through December, and it'll be a learning moment for us.
What's your favorite holiday to celebrate in November and December?
And traditions around that. What are your holiday traditions?
And if you're, team potato or team milk or team anti-milk or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, if you're not team potato, I don't know that this is the place for you.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not team potato, we just need to know why.
Yeah. Other than the fact that they're always staring at you. So we get that. All right. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Bye, guys.
Bye. We're going to have to cut this part out, and we definitely were like, listen.
Cut that too. Yeah.
We'll cut that part out.
Yeah. And cut that out.
You're cutting that out.
Shane, cut it out.
Cut that out.
I couldn't not say it. Come on.
You could have.